Good evening, everybody. Why does it always do that? Every time. This recorder is so weird. Every time I start it up, it starts the timer and then freezes for a second and cuts off that first couple of seconds. But anyway, good evening, everybody. This is Tricky. I'm here with a quick vlog and also just some relaxing noises. I've got here a deck of bicycle playing cards, and one of my favorite trigger sounds is the sound of cards being shuffled and dealt. I would like to give you some better tapping noises, but unfortunately my nails have recently been cut. Essentially nullifying my ability to properly tap. But I'm just here with a quick vlog update. I first want to start off by saying thank you for 17 views on my first video in one night, and even a like. Thank you very much. It means a lot. I was very nervous when I uploaded this video yesterday's video, not this one. I'm still a little nervous. I might make mistakes. But getting that one like may not seem like much to many people, but to a new ASM artist like myself, it means the world. It gave me more confidence to do another video. So thank you. If I knew who you were, I would send you a personal message. But since YouTube does not show who it was that liked your videos, I can't. So all I can do is hope that you see this video and know that I am very grateful. Now, I just wanted to discuss a few minor details about the channel, what I've been doing today, what I plan on doing, and just a little bit about future projects and what to expect. Now, I'm not going to be playing an actual game with these cards. I'm just going to be shuffling them and laying them down softly and repeating the process as I go. So to start off, I want to talk about getting involved in the ASMR community. And when I say getting involved, I don't mean just watching videos like I used to. I mean being subscribed to other ASM artists, getting updates on their new videos, watching them, and actually enjoying them for more than just sleeping purposes. I do that sometimes, but more often than not, when I watch an ASMR video, it's when I'm trying to sleep, and I miss out on a lot of the finer details, especially for ASM artists like Venetian Sailor, Ephemeral Rift, and others who do roleplay ASMR. And in watching, I spent about 2 or 3 hours this morning going through my subscribed channels and checking out their more recent videos. And I gotta say, it's a totally different experience than just sitting there and listening to sleep. So, the other cool thing about doing that was the sidebar, there were a few ASMR artists I'd never heard of before whose thumbnail piqued my interest. Now, I really don't want to butcher his name, so I wrote it down. Tirar Adagulo. I really hope I didn't just destroy your name. There was a thumbnail tagged a xenomorph autopsy, I believe it was, or dissection or something. And I don't think I've ever seen such an odd, strange video since Ephemeral Rift, and I mean that in a good way. I like odd. I like strange. In fact, I think some of the most interesting people are what society considers to be some of the strangest. And more often than not, they can be some of the most entertaining and kind people, understanding and empathetic. And these are the kind of people that I like to surround myself with. It's the kind of person I like to try and be, although sometimes I'm not. I think everyone has moments like that. And it's up to each of us individually to learn to cope with these kind of feelings, so as not to take our anger and frustration out on others, even if we feel sometimes that they may deserve it. I'm not sure who said it before, but someone once said to me, either directly or in a book, I can't remember, it's been so long, hatred only breeds hatred. But regardless, I'm getting off track. The xenomorph dissection video was very interesting to watch. The concentration that Tarar showed in just the subtle facial movements, and it just made it seem so realistic, even though you know he's clearly not dissecting a xenomorph on his table, or is he? So I look forward to watching many more of his videos. I feel as though they will be very interesting. Another ASMR artist I discovered while watching Gourmet ASMR's Buttermilk McChicken video was Blue Whisper. And what caught my eye when I looked over and saw the thumbnail, she had a different setup for her microphone compared to anyone I'd ever seen. I've seen the pop filters, I've seen the potato microphones, thanks Ian, but I've never seen somebody use two large microphones hanging from the ceiling. And I'm sure it's not uncommon, but it was a first for me. So I saw it, and I just had to go check it out. I felt really bad for her, because the video I watched was the one in which she purchased film containers in hopes to get some film to do a video with, and instead wound up with empty canisters. That sucks. I'm sorry that happened to you, Blue. All the same, it was a good video. And I look to watching more of your videos in the future. The third and final new artist I discovered was the ASMR Nerd. I'm particularly interested in this guy, being as he has a lot of gaming videos up, and I'm a big fan of the YouTube gaming channels already. And gaming channels and ASMR coming together, for me, might just be the best combination I've ever heard of. Now, I did notice that there are large gaps between his videos. And in the comment section, quite a few people were complaining about that. Now, in my opinion, that doesn't matter to me, because I'm guilty of watching the same videos over and over again. In fact, Moonlight Eats has a sashimi and sushi video that I have watched no less than 20 times. And I can guarantee you it's probably more than that. I'll never understand why eating sounds make me fall asleep. Which I should probably have been listening to a long time ago, as I've been up for about 27 hours now. It's my own fault. I got sucked into some gaming with a friend of mine online. I actually did do quite a few recordings of those, but unfortunately, they are just a little too loud to be categorized in ASMR. I may put those videos up under a separate playlist just for your entertainment purposes only. So anyway, ASMR Nerd is one that I look forward to watching and enjoying more videos of. As I've said, I think I've repeated myself here about 3 different times. Now, I wrote down a list of a few things that I wanted to discuss, just because I have a very, very bad short-term memory. One of the subjects is a little bit personal, but I feel as though it's something that I should address. But we'll get to that in a moment. First things first, I've already discussed the views and likes. That was next on the list. I already discussed how much that meant to me and how it affected me and convinced me to make a new video. So we'll move on to the next topic, and I think I might pull up my stool because my legs are falling asleep. So, the concept of juggling work, life, and now a YouTube channel. At the moment, the job that I work at, which is a factory job, unloading parts for John Deere, is on shutdown for the next 4 days. So I'll be able to upload several videos during that time. However, once the job starts up again, my schedule will go from 11:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. 5 days a week. And it's a very demanding, very physically demanding job. So in other words, I'm usually pretty tired when I get home. And it's only about 2 or 3 hours before I pass out. After which, I get up and go back to work and repeat the process. So, even though I'm uploading a lot of videos now, chances are it's gonna get to be a lot less. Now, that's just one thing. I just wanted to let you know. So, don't worry if the uploads slow down a bit. It doesn't mean I'm stopping making videos. It just means I'm busy. And if I am going to be away for a while, I will be sure to leave a vlog up as a notification. Next on the list to discuss, future plans. And when I say future plans, I'm more or less talking about getting a studio set up so that I don't have to sit here on my couch at the coffee table with a broken laptop hooked up to the TV with an HDMI cord, straining to get this close to the mic so that way I can give you a good ASMR experience without breaking my neck. My girlfriend and I, on June 6th, will be moving to a 2-bedroom apartment in the same complex that we're in. And the exciting news about that is I only had one stipulation. The house is currently decorated comfortably for a middle-aged woman to live in. And it looks fantastic. I can't lie. I love the way it looks. It certainly looks better than my prior bachelor pad. Please excuse my stomach. It's hungry, and I'm dieting. But anyway, I digress. All of my personal belongings from the old apartment, my posters, tool bench, or toolkit, I should say, even my old bed, it's all in the storage closet. In other words, I don't have anywhere to put my stuff other than jamming it into the storage closet over by the kitchen table. My only stipulation for moving into this new apartment was this. You can decorate the apartment any way you want. I'll move everything where you want it to. I'll set everything up. Your mother can come in and do what she wants with it. Her mother really likes to help decorate the house and has helped us get several items of furniture that we otherwise would not have been able to obtain. Like I said though, the only stipulation I had was let me decorate the second bedroom in the way I want and turn it into a studio. And she agreed. She was fine with it. So, when I do get that 2-bedroom apartment, I'll be able to get a studio set up. My plans are to soundproof the room so we don't get any unwanted background noise in the videos. Currently, I live across the hall from a family with 4 children. It can get pretty loud during the day. And of course, as you know, apartments have very thin walls. Everything travels, and I'm on the 2nd floor, in between the 1st and the 3rd. So everything that happens above and below me can be heard perfectly. Surprisingly, it's been pretty quiet. So I'm very excited to move into the new place and start building an actual studio and have it set up in my own style so you can see how I like to have things set up. I have a lot of posters that I haven't been able to display since we moved into this new apartment about a year ago. As a matter of fact, it was kind of funny when her mother first came to see my old apartment. When she moved in with me, the first thing she asked was, when am I going to get rid of those posters? I had them all over the wall. Posters of Batman, the Joker. I'm a big DC fan. Iron Man posters, video game posters, anime posters. So now you know those are a few things I'm into. I was lucky enough to get a girlfriend who is also into many of the same things. She likes anime. She likes superheroes, comic books. Although she prefers to watch the newer shows about our favorite comic book heroes and is not so much into reading them. I was very lucky to find someone who had the same tastes and interests as me. Oftentimes, she can outgame me. I'll end up being in bed, and she'll still be out playing games. So I was a very lucky guy to get her. So, getting the studio is step 1. Step 2 is getting a better webcam, so that you don't have to deal with all this fuzziness. My microphone is fine. I have a Yeti Blue stereo microphone. It picks up wonderfully. It was about $150 when I got it a couple years ago, and it still works great. So, of course, I have no reason to buy a new microphone, unless I want to do something different with the sound. As a matter of fact, this little guy here has several different settings, and I think right now I have it set on the all-around setting, so I can move my head all the way around the microphone, and it sounds like it's going from ear to ear wonderfully. I'm a huge fan of it. At any rate, I'd like to get a new webcam. I have one in mind. It's about $80. I'm looking into it on Amazon. Now, that's future plans. I have a Jolly Rancher here that I'm going to enjoy. If you don't like the sounds of hard candy or eating noises, you may want to skip ahead in the video, or just skip the video from here on. However, if this is something that floats your boat, enjoy. Next on the list, learning new ASMR techniques and implementing them into my videos. What I'm doing right now is actually an experiment for me. I'm currently trying to figure out how to make the best sounds, and I'm basing this entirely off of my personal preference at the moment, because I don't have any feedback yet. So I do hope that in the future, those of you who watch this video will certainly give me some, perhaps a request, a suggestion, or a tip. I would greatly appreciate it. Constructive criticism is very important. So, if I'm doing something that doesn't quite tickle your fancy, please feel free to let me know. Now, next on the list is a quick discussion about my somewhat nervous disposition. I can still be, even to this day, very reluctant about sharing things I create, and ASMR is no exception. Now, I know that most people on the ASMR community would probably find that silly, being as they're all doing the same thing. I get nervous because I see some of the critical comments that other ASMRtists get. Whether it's a person who doesn't happen to enjoy the video in particular, or just someone who happened to randomly stumble onto an ASMR video and then proceeds to say hateful and hurtful things because it doesn't suit their fancy. In my opinion, there's no reason to even make those comments. Just shut the video off and move on to something different. This community is supposed to be about positivity and positive reinforcement and relaxation. And quite frankly, I don't think there's room for it. For the negativity, I mean. Unfortunately, as we all know, that is prevalent no matter where you go on YouTube. So I'll have to learn to adapt and take the criticism with a grain of salt. I can sometimes get defensive, and I don't want to do that. It's a defense mechanism I picked up from back in high school, being bullied a lot. Now, as far as the bullying goes, I've long since gotten over that. But the depression and stress that it caused did last for quite some time. Fortunately, I've learned to accept the fact that you just can't please everybody. And the important thing is to accept yourself for who you are and just let everybody else who doesn't move on with their own lives and move on with yours. Because sitting there and wallowing in all that self-loathing and self-hatred can breed nothing but negative thoughts and insanity. Which brings me to the topic I was going to discuss from earlier. That is potentially a little bit of a touchy subject. To be serious for a moment, if you or anyone you know is suffering from alcoholism and you don't feel comfortable with this particular topic, that's what I'm going to discuss now. Because I'm looking for your opinion. I'll be completely honest right now. I am an alcoholic. I struggled with it for years, and I'm no longer afraid to admit it. I used to fear that if people found out, no one would want to come around me or be near me, and that people would judge and think I was drunk all the time. I know better now. I've been in and out of the AA program for the better part of 8 years, give or take a few months. I was first told I was an alcoholic at the age of 21 in an intervention. And honestly, who wants to hear that when they just hit legal drinking age? I know I didn't. And I fought it for a long time. Oh, that was loud. I fought it for a long time. My alcoholism got to the point where I was drinking 24/7, 7 days a week. And if I thought back on the year, the amount of days I was drunk compared to the amount of days I was sober, the former far outweighed the latter. Oftentimes my days consisted of waking up in the morning to a couple of shots, picking up a bottle on the way to work, drinking said bottle while at work, picking up another pint on my lunch break, finishing that off before my shift was over, and then on the way home, stopping to pick up one more bottle. At first, I was able to function on it. I could still do things, I could still do my job. But after a while, your body begins to reject it. Your kidneys and liver can no longer process alcohol the way they used to. And it will get to the point, if you're as a severe case as me, where your body physically needs to have alcohol in its system in order to function. The last time I quit, when I finally decided enough was enough, I stopped drinking, and my body completely rejected that notion. I didn't eat for over a week. I was vomiting constantly, even though there was nothing in my stomach. I ached all over. I couldn't sleep for 5 days. And when I finally did start to fall asleep, I had a full-blown seizure. Yes, it can get to be that bad. Fortunately now, I am sober. I'm in AA. And I'm very happy. Now, the main reason I bring this up isn't to tell you my life story, because that's only a basic idea of what alcohol can do to you. I bring this up because I did record a video in which I talked a little bit from the daily reflections. The daily reflections are small passages. I have the book right here. This is your daily reflections book. And basically, every day has a small passage in it. And you read one every day. And it's just kind of something to think back on, hence the word reflections. So I read a passage from that, and I discussed it a little bit. And I read a passage from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions of AA, which I won't get into in detail. And I discussed that as well. And what I need an opinion on is this something appropriate to post on an ASMR channel if I put it in a different playlist and make sure that people know in the description about what it is? Because one of the concepts of AA is that alcoholics can help other alcoholics by sharing their experiences with each other. And I've yet to see an ASMR video that in-depthly discusses alcoholism from the eyes of an alcoholic in general. And also because I'd like to keep a log of my day-by-day experiences in sobriety. One more Jolly Rancher. To be honest, I've only been sober for about a month now, this time around. The longest I've gone without alcohol is 10 months. And even if things are going ridiculously well, sometimes out of nowhere, the craving will hit, and I'll end up drinking. But I'm determined to stay sober. And I want to stay sober this time around. After having a seizure and ending up in a hospital, you kind of take a new lease on life. So in a way, I hope that not only can I help others to understand their disease or another loved one's disease, but I also hope I can help myself a little. This channel is a very important outlet for me right now. And that's why, regardless of how well it's received, I'll be continuing to do videos. Because that is how I express myself, through creativity. I want to thank you for listening to me ramble. I like to talk. In the same way, I like to listen as well, obviously, since I watch so many ASMR videos. I recently watched a video by Ronsky Whispers, in which she's hiking on a ski slope in the mountains, and she had been through something pretty rough. And I just want to say to you, Ronsky, it does get better. Heartbreak does suck. But the right person is out there. And you'll find them. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to get easier right away, but I could already tell that things have gotten better for you from where I started. And I'm glad to see you're moving forward. You're a wonderful ASMRtist. I've watched a lot of your videos over the years. The first video I ever watched of yours was the Swedish candy with the salted black licorice. Not the one that was recently posted, but this one was posted, I think, 2 years ago, give or take, maybe 3. And I remember I often would listen to your stories. You tell great stories, especially about your long-distance runs. The story about your GPS messing up and you guys standing out in the middle of the road waving your phones around like maniacs had me laughing. And speaking of laughter, if you haven't seen the Ephemeral Rift and Phoenician Sailor outtakes from the Dream Team video, go watch it. I couldn't stop laughing. It's probably one of my favorite ASMR combos I've ever seen. They work well together. They really do. Now, at any rate, there is one last thing that you should probably know. I'm a smoker. I hate to admit it. But by God, if I tried to quit alcohol and cigarettes at the same time, I'd likely throw myself off a bridge. Even my sponsor told me don't even try to quit for 2 years, even. Now, I don't think I'm going to wait that long to quit. I do plan on quitting in the future, but I'm still so early on in sobriety, and this definitely helps me cope. It's a disgusting habit, in my opinion, but what can I say? It's relaxing for me. And I know I've seen some smoker video ASMRs. Now, I apologize if this absolutely disgusts you, but this is a chance for you to get to know me and who I really am. I'm not going to put on a facade for the camera and pretend I'm something I'm not in these vlogs. If I do role plays, that's the point. Pretend that I'm something I'm not. And I've seen so many ASMRtists out there who are real about themselves and honest, that I feel like it would be a sham if I pretended not to have a few issues of my own. So this is me. My name is Tricky. I am an ASMRtist. I will not compromise myself and pretend to be someone I'm not, just to get views and likes, because that's not why I'm here. I'm here to help you relax, to help myself relax, and to hopefully learn a thing or two from the community. Now, perhaps I'm being ignorant, and I apologize if that's what it sounds like. I don't mean to be. I just don't want to be someone I'm not. I'm hoping that by being honest with myself and with you, I can learn not to live life in a lie. God, this really got dark all of a sudden, didn't it? Wasn't my intention. But I've just had a lot on my mind lately, and I just needed to get it off my chest. I hope this video has relaxed you. And if you haven't fallen asleep yet, thank you for watching all the way through. Feel free to leave a comment or a like, some corrective criticism perhaps, or some tips if you're also an ASMRtist, because I'm still so very new to this, and I don't 100% know what I'm doing. So thank you all for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with some new videos. Maybe some Town of Salem. Who knows? It's always up in the air. Feel free to leave a request if you like. Have a good night.